Well, there's a myriad of things. I think first of all we have to go back to writer. You are very well known for teaching skills. Your students speak a whole lot about you, Miss Nigeria competition.
And I said, let's pick them up, let's take them back to Nigeria, and let's teach them a different kind of job.
The program is The Woman, and I did try to give you a little bit of my guests. That's just what it is, a little bit. She is a writer, she is a gender activist, she's a child rights activist, she's a whole lot of things, a leadership trainer. Join me as I welcome Madam Laila St. Matthew's Daniel, all the way from Lagos via Zoom. Nice to have you join us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm indeed very honored.
You know, when we were trying to arrange for recording, when your picture popped up, everybody was like, wow, I know her. She's almost 70 and she still looks 40. Blah, blah. I'm tempted to want to take care of that first. Tell us, what's the secret?
The secret of aging, as I always tell people, it's the way your mind is, because it starts from inside before it radiates outside. You can use everything that you want to use, but if the inside is not at peace, if the inside is filled with all kinds of negativity, it's going to affect your external. Like my hair, I don't do anything to it. I just have powder on my face. You understand? So it starts from the inside out, and then you eat right. I'm not very good at exercising. I'm sorry to say, I should do more of it. But I'll tell you the truth, it's from the inside out.
My Yoruba family will say Benny. So I want to borrow that Benny. You're very correct. All right. Now, Matthews Daniels and the first one I have.
D. They call me Mrs. D.
Mrs. D.
Don't mess my surname.
Okay.
So for those who know me, who I get along with, and I'm sure you guys too, they gave me Mrs. D. For years, they just call me Mrs.
D. Yes, Mrs. D. Anyway, the first time I heard about you was in, big time was 2014, during the Buni Yadi massacre. And then you also were a frontliner, one of the first people that stood up for the Chibok girls. And I tried to actually read more. I found out that over time you have this budding, interest in protecting the girl child. Where did that come from? Any particular reason?
Not exactly. It's something that I've always had, even as a young person, of trying to put my nose into anywhere that there is injustice. I've always been like that. But it was around 1996, 1997, 1998 that I started, going into activism and wanting to help the woman and the girl child. I just had a burning desire that they are a sector of the human race that's always getting the wrong end of the stick. And particularly the fact that I had been through my good, the bad, and the ugly too as well. And I could understand where a lot of people could come through. I may not experience some of the things that they have experienced, but I've experienced pain, I've experienced emotional pain. I've experienced emotional, trauma. I started writing about it. I wrote for about 1 year in that soft cell, City People. And then I founded the NGO and I stopped to, because you need to take a special place. Although all the people that go left, right, and center, even in business, you will not actually brand yourself. So I stuck somehow to the domestic violence and abuse, all forms of abuse of the woman and the girl child. And I believe it's a mandate. It's a mandate from God. I was just driven into it. And that's where I have been. Anywhere that there is a problem, like you heard about the Bunu Yadi situation, I would go on the road, I would mobilize and go on the road. And I was one of the front liners of the Chibok girls, although when we now it now gathered strength. I moved back and allowed other people to take the lead as they wanted to, because in life, sometimes you are a starter and you should be able to be matured enough and confident in yourself to let it go. Some will start, some will till the ground, some will plant the seed, some will water, and some will harvest. So I can reach out to anybody. They can reach out to me from wherever they are. I will always have a solution, because I believe in one thing: synergy and collaboration. It doesn't matter who is at the head of the as I told you, Chibok girls, when they are talking, they don't talk about the people who instigated it. Buni Yadi, I was the one who started that Nigerian Women Month, and I activated 9 states and those abroad from my table, and I did all that.
As president of Arts Generation, that's your NGO, you've done a whole lot. Since the COVID situation came in, a lot of things have happened. One is domestic violence. The other one is the increase in rape. I need you to speak on each of them, individually. But let's start with the domestic violence. Why are people suddenly becoming more violent, even to a point of suicidal mission?
Well, the thing is this, that COVID-19 caught everybody unawares, and it showed up the negativity and the positivity of situations and people. And a lot of people are not emotionally resilient. They are not psychologically resilient. You understand? So what happens is that when you now put people who otherwise have not addressed issues that may have been on ground in a relationship, we're talking about, spousal violence, when they haven't addressed it and they are now enclosed in a space that they cannot run away from. In the morning, they might go out to their work or to their businesses, or just, go out and come back later on in the night or something. Now there is no running away from it. And so irritation is there. There is emotional confusion. There is aggression comes up, especially if the man has anger issues. It will come up, and at every slight situation, it will burst out. And that is what has caused a lot of domestic violence, not only in Nigeria, all over the world. There have been even 1 or 2 cases of murder taking place. It shows that something fundamental is wrong, and a lot of relationships are fundamentally wrong. But you know what? They do not seek for counseling. They do not seek for coaching. They do not seek for therapy, because, the general cultural norms of our society is don't wash your dirty linen in public. But you see, when you do not seek for help, nothing can be done, and it could become very disastrous for some people. And even some people who did not have domestic violence, they've started divorce proceedings because it showed the big crack. Now, on the flip side, the ones who had a good relationship, they worked at it. During that period, I had quite a lot of clients who got in touch with me when a strain started happening between the two of them. They were sensible enough to know that there are times you need help. That thing about not letting a third party into your relationship does not work in all cases. Sometimes you need a third party, a party who doesn't know the both of you, a matured party, and a professional who will look at things dispassionately and tell you, you're wrong, you're wrong. A man actually told me that initially, he was very, very upset when the wife got in touch with me, but thank God he was willing, he was willing to come with her, to come online with her. He confessed, I was very upset when she told me, but I love my wife. We've been together, we're going to be 10 years now, and we need to sort this out. And when she said this, I said, you are bringing a third party. And she said, no, she comes highly recommended. And then by the time last week, he said to me, gosh, this is one of the best, best third party situation that has ever happened. And this is a conk Nigerian man, you understand?
But now, speaking of rape, it's been on the increase as well. I don't know why. Some people say it's because the women are not dressing up properly. That is a question I still find difficult to, swallow. Nonetheless, provide an answer for. I don't know what your take is on it. I mean, recently we've heard about 2-year-old child raped, 4-year-old child raped here in Nigeria. And in this same Abuja, someone, a lady of 82 years, was raped by the grandson. And I'm wondering, what has clothes dressing got to do with it?
Well, this issue about rape, we've been going on and on and on and on and on. It's something that has not been, addressed the way it should be addressed. And I'm sorry to say, in my country, we take very serious issues in a very, blasé manner and not really look at it. Now, rape has been there. We've shouted. I've gone on the road. I've minimized going on the road. I mean, rallies and everything. I've left it for the younger ones now. We've gone on the road. We've done all sorts of things to call attention, that this is a serious situation. When criminal activities are not dealt with, the human being who's perpetrating such activities will now get to a state of mind that says, I can do it and get away with it. And that is what has been happening. When you look at the incident of rapes before COVID-19 and those that have actually been, criminalized properly, you will find that it's just not happening. And the problem happens between when the rape takes place, what happens at the police station. That is where a lot of blockage happens and sabotage. Before it gets to the justice system, that is where it happens. Because there, the traumatized rape victim and the families are put through so much that they just have to, back off. It's either three ways. It's either the family gets threatened, that if they continue, they will deal with them, and it depends on the background, or the police system will say they do not have any funding for all of this. You take the rapist to the police station, they will now tell you that for them to keep him whilst they're investigating, they don't have money to feed him. So can you imagine you have to bring food to the police station, and some of them will say they don't have paper and everything, or they cannot have transportation, all kinds of excuses. You understand? That truncates that position. The next stage that truncates it is the onus is always on the raped victim to prove that they are not raped. And it is our society that makes fun of so many things and they are of this mindset, ignorant mindset, that it is the way you dress. It is the way the woman dresses. It is the way this, it is the way that. We've been saying it for youngs. What has a baby got to do with the way she dresses? What has a toddler, 2-year, 3-year, 4-year, as you've said, got to do with it? Well, schoolgirls, with that their uniform that doesn't show anything, no breast, no nothing, what has it got to do with that? What has an old woman got to do with being raped? Do you understand? A rapist is a rapist. He's a dysfunctional human being that somewhere down the line, his brain, the part of the brain that feels, the part of the brain that is that takes charge of the emotions to do right and wrong, which is called the amygdala. It's a portion on, like a little knot. If there is something wrong with it, they will give justification for nasty behavior, nasty ways. That's the kind of attitude that serial killers have. That's the kind of attitude that cultists have. And guess what? There are a lot of closet rapists around. A lot of rapists. We call them closet rapists. Men that you will look, you will see, and you will not know that they are rapists. But let a situation present itself, and they are going to let loose. So a rapist is a rapist is a rapist. There is no two ways about it completely. Or else, in the village and everything. It was no big deal in those days for a little girl to be walking around with her pants and nothing on and everything. It depends on the man himself. Last week, look, I was in church online on Sunday because, my advocacy does not have boundaries. I can be got at any time through my phone, you understand? And I will advocate. If I don't have the ability to, I will link up to somebody else. I told you earlier on, I'm a synergy and collaborative person. And I was on, and I get pinged, and I looked at my phone, and it was this thing about that little girl in central Lagos that luckily a lady saw this little girl with a red eye and everything and asked what happened. The mother said that something, she fell down or something, and the sister said, no, she was beaten. She had a red eye. Why did you beat this 2-year-old girl? She now said it's because she keeps going back to the man who raped her or who defiled her. You understand? And that is why you are beating this girl. Now, this man who is defiling her, there is a reason. And you see, I've come to the realization that there's something diabolical that is around it. Because the other 4-year-old that spoke last week, and there are many more like that, said whenever this teacher, this one was a teacher, 4-year-old, you send your child to school to be looked after, and a teacher is defiling her, said every time that the man, uncle. That's why I tell people, don't let your children call people uncle and auntie. Let them call Mr. So-so-and-so, Miss So-so-and-so, Mrs. So-so-and-so. They are not your uncle and aunties. The uncle and auntie is the immediate, look, it's bad enough that your real uncle and auntie in the house, some of them are molesting the children. I'll come to that. We'll take a red hanky, and clean her up. Because this child of 4, remember that the cloth is red.
Right.
Why would that be? Why would a 25-year-old rape an 80-plus woman, if not that some diabolical juju person, marabu, or whatever they call themselves? And it's
your grandmother and pay it for money.
Money. There was a time 3 years ago or something when we were talking about how to go about, awareness and sensitization. Because this woman that was beating her child of 2, you understand, does not understand what gravity that child was going through, or was being exposed to. The child is only 2. She doesn't understand what is going on. She's obviously been enticed by sweets or something like that. And then you are beating her black and blue. They asked her, did you report the first time? It said yes, but they said they should go and settle themselves. You see, this is where the police needs to come full force. In fact, all of us in our NGO, most of us, are appealing to the IG of police that a state of emergency should be declared. And when 1 or 2 men and boys or whatever have their waiting call chopped off, when they have it chopped off, their head will be correct. They will be made into eunuchs by force, like they do in some countries. Their head will be correct. Because right now, they are getting away with it. And the human being who is not controlled will always give in to his desires, whether he feels it's right or wrong, because there is no accountability. He's not made to be responsible.
My director is actually on my neck to wind up, but I can't leave without getting to relax a little bit with you. Enough of the heated talk. I know how passionate you are about these issues. All of us really feel bad, but I know as an activist, it touches you.
Oh, yes, and a mother, and a this, and a that,
Grandma.
Grandma.
All right. Now, I want to know, on a very good day, you don't look as old as you told us, almost 70. What do you do, in a day? What occupies you? How do you combine with all your jobs and the family? How do you, work around it? And you don't look in any way stressed.
Well, I must first of all thank God for my genes, I think. I believe it may be my genes. And then secondly, I'm a very active person. I've not allowed myself to say, because I am this age, I will not I will not be I will not be active. You understand? I will not do certain things. I will not do this. I will get myself only into situations where I'll only enjoy myself. Like I was telling some of people my age, and some of them say, we're getting so bored, and this, that, and the other. What do we do? I said, activate your brain. Get your brain active. Get your brain into things. It's not over till it's over. It's not over till it's over. So I take it back to my mindset. It's not over till it's over. And I have a deep passion to give out, to empower, to teach, to lead people to be the best that they can be. I train, I coach, I do therapy. I love helping people get from one place to the other. You understand? So my whole being is to give. And as I'm giving, I'm being replenished.
You don't do exercise, but you do a bit of dancing. A little bit.
Yes, so I do. The other day, on Saturday, my whole troop came to visit. And then my eldest now said we should do TikTok, and brought the other grandchildren. And we did TikTok, you know. We did dancing TikTok. I don't give up, you know. I dance.
I told you, I'm just following you bumper to bumper. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And for this, one thing that, just before I go, one thing that my energy does for younger people is that I've had it said to me many times that I inspire them. If we can do this, I have no reason not to at my age. And for me, that is deep satisfaction.
I know that a lot of people out there are inspired. She doesn't give up. She doesn't believe it's over until she says, or God says it's over. And that's the spirit we should all adopt. Ensure that you don't pause your life before nature pauses it. And whatever you do, be positive. That's a lesson from Mrs. D, as she likes to be called. My name again is Elizabeth. I'll see you again next week with another very, very exciting personality. I'm going to dance to TikTok just like you did. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.